The items in Unicorn Overlord are actually very interesting. Some of them are certainly better than others, but in order to understand the game, you should also understand items, because understanding items can allow you to easily beat maps, and especially when you are just shy a little bit of damage, or a little bit of defense, or a little bit of stamina, you can use certain items to augment your army to easily win. All right, so to begin, we're going to start with some of these rarer items that you get near the end of the demo. So Healing Tonic, it's just like a super heal, restores 60 HP to a single unit. This I got from a mission near the end of the demo, so you're probably not going to get this until later on. Magic Mine. So the mines are interesting because what they do is it drops a mine, like especially if you put it in a road, you can basically have enemies run into it and take free damage. So Magic Mine would be great against like armors, for example. There's also other things like the Bear Trap, which I don't, or I do actually have it. The Steel Trap, so similarly, it's good against things that are weak to physical. So you have basically two mine type things, a Steel Trap and a Magic Mine. Now this is also towards the end of the thing, but you actually plant this in the ground and the enemy has to walk over it. So it's what you would expect a mine to be. Then you have Novice Military Books. These give XP and also give 3 times XP if you're below level 10. So if we actually use these, we can start leveling a unit up.
Take notes, Lex.
Which is very nice. And it gives 3 times if they're below level 10. So basically, these books can be used to power level something to level 10. So if you want to run Lex,
just leave it to Lex.
Just leave it to Lex. For whatever reason, you can do that. Dues I'll go over in a second. Hallowed Cornash, you typically get this from forts and as certain quest rewards. This allows you to revive a destroyed unit, so if one of your units is completely killed off, you can revive them. You can also use it to prevent defeat. It allows you, I think, gives you more time. And you can also use it to restore 2 Valor points. So it does a lot of things. And the restoring of Valor points is useful because this allows you to speed clear maps in some instances. So pretty huge item. It's unclear that you should be spamming these early. They might have some use case later on if you trade them in for something. That might be a thing. They might just be a utility item. We don't know yet. Then we have Healing Tonic, restores 30 HP. Healing Tonic L. So this restores 120 HP. So this is like right now, this heal doesn't matter. No one should be having this much health yet. So Healing Font, this one's great. Restore 20 HP to all units, combatants in a unit. It seems like they call them combatants, but like I view each unit as a unit. So the fact that they call the group a unit, I think it should be called a squad or something. But all right, so Revival Orb revives. So this is an AoE heal for 1 item use. Also keep in mind you have 10 item uses when you're doing these missions. So you can only use 10 items total. So if you enter a mission and then decide to use Dew of Strength to give someone a permanent strength boost, you should really have done that before the mission. Revival Orb revives a dude, not a squad or a unit. Revives an individual combatant in a unit that isn't destroyed or killed yet with 25% HP. You can also revive for free just by sitting on a fort, but it costs you time. So very often it's worth it to revive and then just like spot heal something so that you can kill a boss. All right, Smoked Nuts. This is one of the best items in the game, I think. This allows you to restore stamina. So if you have some super unit, some super group that just kills everything pushing a boss, you can just pop Smoked Nuts and just keep restoring stamina to them so they can keep fighting. Because very often as you're approaching a boss, there's going to be a lot of enemies, a lot of guard towers, a lot of things to deal with. So very often you're going to be running low on stamina. And this just allows you to straight up win battles at times. It's probably one of the most useful items in the game, and every shop sells them. So some of these items you can't just buy. Like right now, you can't buy Healing Tonic M, Healing Tonic L. You can't buy Hallowed Cornash. If you can, it's finite. You actually can buy Magic Mines. I found a store that sells them. But some of these rare items are hard to get, but these are very common. You can buy them everywhere. Grilled Steak is like Smoked Nuts, but better. Restores 5 stamina. This I got from some kind of specific mission or quest. Probably later on, there will be things that sell these. This is like a natural progression for the Smoked Nuts. Silver Hourglass significantly shortens the wait time on the user's unit. So if you get hit by, you fight an enemy, you get knocked out, you lose, you're in wait time, this reduces it. It should also reduce, actually, hold on, I'm not sure that it does that. I don't think it reduces rest, because it just says wait time. it might reduce rest. We know for sure it reduces like losing a battle recovery time. So it may or may not reduce rest. If you know, definitely comment below. Camping set. This has straight up won me a match before. This is super overpowered. Revives incapacitated allied units within range, granting them 30 HP and 2 stamina. This is good even just for the stamina, but this has straight up won a battle for me, where it just revives everyone basically to full health at these lower levels, and then you just continue pushing with a full team that all now has stamina. So very useful to reset your army if things are looking dire, but these are very expensive and quite rare, so I do not recommend you spam them. All right, empowering draught. This is one of the other best things for speedrunning the game. You just get 30% more damage, and when combined with defensive draughts, 30% more defense. Decreases damage taken by 30%, which is better than 30% more defense. So this is just a straight up damage reduction and a damage increase. If you pop both of these and you spam smoke nuts, you can typically get a super unit killing the enemy bosses very quickly, and you can just like rush through the maps. So very powerful items. Most shops sell both of these as well. They're 1,500, but if you're speed clearing maps, you're making tons of money and it doesn't matter. So you can spam one per map, one of each. Liquid Fortune doubles EXP and gold gain by the user's unit. This actually, I haven't been leveraging enough. You should use this on boss fights, especially when using these, because then you just get double the gold. And then if you have the golden egg, you should get 4 times the gold. So if a drop would give, or if a boss would give you 1k, you should be getting 4 with this plus the golden egg, assuming that the math on the back end applies correctly. Otherwise, it should be at least be like 3 times. If it just gives you double in one instance and then doubles like another. I mean, I don't understand how it could do that, but sometimes code is weird. But it should give you 4 times if you combine this with the egg. We'll just say that. All right, light tail feather. So there's the white tail feather, I think it's what it's called. Then there's the light tail feather. These are found on the map. I haven't found a store that sells these. These are crazy good. Doubles mobility of all allied units within range. This I've only seen one of. I've had 3 of the other tail feather that just doubles mobility of a single unit for 30 seconds. So what this allows you to do, especially when used on a horse on a road, is you double the mobility of the horse, and it can dive bosses from extreme ranges very quickly, and then use Bull Rush or whatever the Night Rush ability is called to quickly reposition and take space and fight the boss before the enemies even get to your base. So very overpowered item, but there's seemingly finite uses, at least in the demo. Maybe later on you can buy them from like the Angel Land or something like that from those stores. But for now, as far as I can tell, there isn't a store that sells these. Beckoning Bell, target enemy moves towards the user for 10 seconds, does not affect enemies in towns, forts, or bases. So this is basically like a provoke that you can use as an item, which can be useful. Personally, I don't think it's super useful, but I don't know, you can use it, I'm sure. Maybe later on we want to draw in enemies more, whereas in the demo it doesn't matter because you can just beat maps so fast. Beckoning Chime, all enemy units in range move towards the user for 10 seconds. So this is just like a super version of this. I think I have seen these sold in stores. This I don't think I have, but this is just a super version of this. It just affects all enemies within range. Holy Herb, allied units recover 50% HP at the end of battle. These I believe are sold in certain stores. Now this is nice because if you're winning and you're not dying, you basically just reset your health at the end. So it's kind of like a cleric assist in some ways. So it's just nice to have. Outside of that, I don't really know it's worth the item use. I'd rather just manually heal. It can be nice if your team's taking damage, but some of the best teams tend to take little to no damage. So it's only really good on teams that aren't that good, or if the matchup's bad. But it's still useful. It's still worth mentioning. Concealing Cloak, allies cannot be detected for 20 seconds, ends upon initiating battle. So when you're in the woods, enemies cannot see you. If you attack something, though, they can. So when you and the enemy are in the woods, you typically cannot see each other if you're so far away. The Concealing Cloak gives you that effect of the enemies not being able to see you, so you're invisible until you attack. I'm pretty sure if you move with it, they can't see you either. Because it's just like being in the woods, right? So they might be able to see you if they're close enough, though. I think that's how the woods works. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how this works as well. Is this useful, though? This might be like a PvP thing. I can't see this being super useful unless you're trying to, like, have a flyer squad. See, here's the thing. If you want to have a flyer squad get to the boss, and you want to conceal it, you could do that. That would be a thing to do. But how useful would that be? Because flyers are slow. You're probably better off just fighting and just spamming smoke nuts and then using rush to get past enemies than doing this, but you could do this if you want to. Farsight Crystal improves visibility, rendering enemy units in range detectable. So if enemies have Farsight abilities, they can detect your invisible dudes, so consider that too. But also, ally accuracy plus 50. So ally accuracy plus 50 for 30 seconds. Consider how good that is for a second. The avoid tank enemies, their whole thing is just having high avoid, right? So if you can neutralize that by giving yourself hit 50, now your entire team is effective against avoid type enemies. This basically just nullifies like most thieves and most Griffin Knights. So it is pretty good situationally. So this one is worth mentioning, but I haven't really seen too many of these being sold either. I did see one, I think, in a later game shop though. Conveyance Stone. This one just allows you to teleport to an allied facility. This is useful for getting around the map. It's not as good as the Witch Teleport, which can teleport to other units, but it's still decent. It's still good to prevent yourself from losing really quickly or to push aggressively if you cannot deploy. Like if you have like a fort, or not a fort, if you have like a bridge that you can't deploy from or a tower that's next to the boss, using this to teleport a fresh unit or a unit that's at like full health to then go attack the boss could be pretty valuable. So this is a pretty good item. You get one for free if you're about to lose a map. So one of the easiest ways to get one of these is just let an enemy get close to your base with nothing deployed, and then you will get one of these for free. And then afterwards you can just deploy a unit so you don't lose. Barricade Kit. I have used these to stall difficult maps so that I can dive the boss. Deploys 3 barricades that have decent health, that bounce enemies off of them. They have to hit them so many times, and then eventually the enemy will break them, but it delays, it stalls, it's great for that. Mantlet Kit deploys a Mantlet. So Mantlets, it has 3 uses. It blocks assists for 3 combats, which is pretty useful. And then afterwards it breaks. I don't think it does anything else outside of that, but it's still useful to block. You can see there's a little arrow in there. It just like blocks these arrows. Steel Trap. Deploy a Steel Trap in designated location. So similar to the Magic Mine, this just hits physical, and you can throw these on roads. This is probably the best use case for them. You just throw them on roads to deal damage. I think it holds enemies too. We could check that in a second. Let's check it right now, actually. Let's go to a battle. Let's use some of these items too. Actually, before we do that, let's finish up with... I haven't seen a need to use these things, or like some of these items, so like there's no real reason. It's just like for fun, you could do it, I guess. And then Magic Bomb damages all units and traps in the area. So we'll test out some of the offensive ones, and I'll show like some of the teleport ones. All right, and then for this shop, the Angel Shop, the items here, infinite supply of Hallowed Cornash, infinite supply of all of the dues. So +1 initiative, +1 crit rate, +2 evasion, +2 accuracy, +1 guard rate, and so on. So for literally everything, and each one costs 2 divine shards. And you can only use up to 5 on a particular unit. So if you want to give a unit +5 attack, you can do that, and then it won't let you use more dues of strength on them. And then you can also use dew of vitality and so on. So you can dump specific stats into specific units doing this, and it's very good for creating power units that can easily clear the game. All right, so let's go to a battle. Let's check out these mines. I don't think it'll let me do the level 40 battle. Sigil Trial. Yeah, we can do a Sigil Trial. Why not? I think this save file has like no battles left aside from the final one, because we're like over leveled. Let's go do a Sigil battle. These battles are crazy, and there's a ton of enemies, so this would be a good use case to check out mines. Now this particular battle you can beat with rush quickly. Alright, so let's deploy the overpowered team. Alright, so let's start using some items. Alright, so first of all, Magic Bomb. You can throw it, it blows things up. Blows up barricades, very useful. Let's look at some of these mines. Magic Mine. Now, they're going to be taking the road. Let's throw this down there. I think that's an open field, actually. It's kind of hard to tell because the map is all purple for some reason. I don't know why the map is purple. Let's just deploy. So you can see where these things are. So Steel Trap. Let's test exactly what it does. I'm sure it does damage. Then barricade kit deploys barricades 3 in a row.
I'll prove my worth.
Let's see, camping sets, bar sights. Let's check out the concealing cloak as well.
I'm ever in your
Not just like move
It shall be done.
in range of them.
I'm here, Your Highness. What shall I do?
I'm pretty sure we can use items while invisible, if you want to be sneaky. Be an item planter. That could be a thing, just be an item planter. Now you burning your item uses to do this, because you only get 10 per battle, but this is a thing you can do. We're doing this for science right now, right? I bet you can you magic bomb too, without breaking invis. Let's check the damage on it as well. 31! Pretty big damage against that armor there. Actually killed some of them. Oh, they're level 3 though. For some reason. Or no, they're not, they're level 13. Their health is abnormally low though for level 13. I'm not sure what's going on there. So magic bomb, good. Magic mine. You could also use that before a fight too. You could just like magic bomb dump a boss. Alright, let's check this out. Let's see what they do. Alright, 15 damage. It looks like it's single hit. Alright, they took that. That guy just died to the mines.
What shall I do?
So the damage isn't that good. Alright, so that's what I thought. The trap doesn't like stall them or anything, just damages them a little bit. So there's that. You can also deploy barricades pretty close to each other. Things like this can be used to stall out maps, which is neat. Then the mantlet, we already know what that does. We've seen that already. Alright, so here's how I typically bridge these things. Now, one thing I wonder about, does this enter, or does this cancel my thing? Let's not run into these. Let's see if we can thread the needle here. If I don't hit something, does it let me get away with this? Oh, I'm in a combat. Alright. This is typically what I do. I just like rush down the boss. If I want to beat a map quickly using a broken team.
'Twas fate which brought us here. What shall I do? I'll prove my worth.
Yeah.
I depart.
Yeah, they're gonna try to chase us down, but we can always pop smoke nuts. There's nothing they can do about it. You can use barricades. You don't even need their units. You can just use barricades to stall them. I even waited too. I just sat there for a short period of time, allowing them to push me. Yeah, and then you kill the boss. You can see them struggling with the barricades.
Prepare yourselves.
There you go. All right, so those are the basic items. The traps, steel trap seems, it seems nothing. Magic mine seems good. Magic bomb seems good. Cloak seems decent for setting up an ambush, obviously. I think in PvP that'll be a thing. People using cloaks. In single player, maybe in certain maps with dangerous enemies, maybe to get around combats, you could do that. But it's kind of a hard item to get too, so it's hard to say that you can really spam it or anything like that. But that's it for the basic item guide. I think the best items really are like smoke nuts and the draughts. I think those typically are going to lead to victory more. And then of course like revive orb as needed. And then healing font and heal as needed. And then of course you use your stat boosters. So I think Clive right now. Yeah, so here's an example of a unit who has max stat boosters on him. And then of course you can just start strength dumping someone else. So gotta get that thief damage off. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for checking this out. Peace.